This is a study skills guide to the recognition trap. This is a trap we can all fall into when we revise. If you're studying and you find yourself saying, "Oh yeah, I knew that," you've fallen into the recognition trap. I call it a trap because what it will do is give you the false impression that you will be able to recall this information in an exam, but in actual fact you will not be able to. So to help our understanding of this, I've created a continuum on screen, starting out with no clue. Then we move on to recognition, partial recall, and finally total recall. So let's have a look at what each of these means. Recall, to bring back into your mind. So what this means when studying is that you're able to answer questions, recite facts, and describe something without prompts or clues. Partial recall, to bring back only some of the relevant information. This, in studying, means that you're sometimes able to answer questions, but without detail. You can recite some facts and provide limited descriptions. Recognize, to identify something from having seen it before. When you're studying, this means that you're able to identify the correct answer when you see it. It's usually followed by the phrase, "Oh yeah, I knew that." And finally, no clue. You don't even recall or recognize the information. What this means is that you've either missed the lesson and didn't bother to find out what you missed, or you've left it so long since that lesson that your brain's discarded that information as unnecessary. So let's have a look at some simple examples to help us understand this. Recall. Name that animal. Instantly, without any clues and without a multiple choice, you should be able to name this particular type of animal. But we'll go through the multiple choice anyway. Is it A, a cat, B, a dog, C, a horse, or D, a snake? We know straight away it's a dog. In fact, you may have even given some more detail and may have said it's a puppy. Next, partial recall. Name that animal. In this case, when I looked this up online, unusual animals, I knew straight away that it was a monkey. I could partly recall the information. However, I could not recall what type of monkey it is. So let's have a look. Is it A, nose-face monkey, B, elephant monkey, C, proboscis monkey, or D, gonzo monkey? For anyone interested, the answer in this case is proboscis monkey. Next, recognition. Now this animal I recognized immediately when I saw it online, but again, I couldn't recall its name. So here are our options this time. Bakaranu, Barunda, koala, capybara. For me, the moment I saw the name capybara, I said, "Oh yeah, I knew that." However, that knowledge was buried too deep, and so I couldn't recall it easily. That meant that I had the false impression that when I see this animal, I know what it is. In actual fact, if I was to perform an exam where they showed me a picture of this animal, I would not be able to recall its name unless I study it again. And finally, no clue. It's A, an okapi, B, onasi, C, kabiru, or D, kaniso. I'll let you work that one out for yourselves. So, how do you know what stage you're at? Well, if you recall something, you instantly give a full and detailed answer without looking at prompts and without anyone giving you clues. If you only have partial recall, you instantly give an answer, but it's missing detail. That detail you then have to be reminded of. Next, recognition. You can't answer it until somebody gives you a clue. This type of situation is where you're able to answer a multiple choice, but you can't answer it if the options are not given to you. You look at the answer and you say, "Oh yeah, I know that." And finally, you give the wrong answer, but then when you see the correct answer, you might say, "Oh, I don't know why I said that, it's obvious." Again, this is a sign of the recognition trap. It's not because of a simple brain mistake, it is because you could not recall the information. And finally, no clue. This is indicated when you don't even understand the question. So what are the implications for studying? Well, if you find that you recall, then all you need to do is revise it again in a month. If you have partial recall, you need to use a memory technique to consolidate all the details and revise it again in a week. If you recognize it, you need to reread it fully, then rehearse or practice it, revise it again the very next day. If you find yourself going through a revision book and you see something and say, "Oh yeah, I knew that," the worst thing you can do is then close the book without having reread it fully, without rehearsing it, and without practicing it. Because all you're doing is telling your mind, you don't need to remember this, it's always written down for you. In that case, when you go into your exams, you will fail. Finally, no clue. In this case, look it up, study it, and if you still don't understand it, ask for help. Then revise it again the very next day.